actor were you like as a teenager? Do you remember what your strengths were? What you?
I think back then, if you just did it and just showed up.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it was really. I came from a town where there was a school that was the original high school built in the town, Massapequa High School, where my dad taught, and then the second high school, when the town grew, was a school called Alfred G. Berner High School, where I went, which was kind of, they also ran, you know, like the people that were the administration of the school, their offices were housed on the campus of the original high school. So it was almost like the original high school had everything great. And we had everything. I don't know if you've ever seen a town like this. We had everything like so-so. And they had a drama club called Mask and Muse. And you look at their yearbook, and they had like a photo club. It's academic, Mask and Muse.
Fancy.
And yeah, and ours was like a bunch of people standing smoking cigarettes in the parking lot. Not really. But.
Right. When you played football in high school,
yeah.
Did you ever have to choose between playing football and like doing a play, like the fall play?
I did. How did you know that?
What? I'm guessing. What was it?
I did a play in the drama club, and they did like Mr. Roberts.
Classic high school.
Yeah, they did.
Ensemble. Yeah.
Well, I don't want to be cliche about it, but the drama teacher, who I will remain nameless, he was this man who came up to me and he said, "Why don't you get some of those football players to come here and play sailors in our production of Mr. Roberts? We could get some of your friends from the team to come." And I said, "No, Mr. So-and-so." I said, "I don't know." And I remember I went to football practice. Like, "So, any of you guys want to be in the drama club? You know, Mr. Roberts? There's some sailors on the boat." And they looked at me like I was crazy. So there was that weird chasm between drama club and football team.
You went to GW and NYU. Was it always acting for you? Was that the idea? Okay. What else?
I wanted to go into politics.
Oh. That's still open.
Hello.
Whether you're running for mayor is the question on page 12.
There are some wonderful people running for mayor right now.
Are there?
We're covered in that department here in New York, I think.
Did you think of yourself as a potential candidate someday, or more of like a backroom guy, more like a strategist?
I think when I went to Washington and I worked there, I lived in a time then when I went into my room in college and I met my roommates. I was in a big suite. And I met this guy, Ralph so-and-so from Cherry Hill, New Jersey. I said, "What are you here for, Ralph?" He said, "I'm here to get a degree in political science, and I'm going to be the president of the United States." I said, "That's amazing." And 20 minutes later, Jerry rolls in with his duffel bags. I said, "Jerry, what are you here for?" "I'm here from, Springfield, Massachusetts, and I'm going to be the president of the United States." So it seems like everybody, that Washington, GW, Georgetown, AU, and so forth, Howard, all those Washington schools had a huge political bent.
Right.
You worked internships. I worked in the Congress. Everybody was very into politics then. And then I changed my major and I moved to New York and went to NYU.
Yeah. Among the other jobs you had at one point, you were a busboy at Studio 54.
Yes, Patrick.
Okay. Now serve it up. Tell us a little story. Any happy memories from Studio 54 back in the day that you can share?
It was pretty raunchy, Studio 54.
Yeah.
It was pretty weird. Well, I was there when it was kind of going down.
Really? Okay.
Like all the glitterati, if you will, that were at that time, they had long stopped coming. Like they would come like maybe once a month and like pop in late at night, but the place had become much more accessible. And but I did. This is a weird story, but I did one day. I grew a beard. Mm-hmm. And one of the people from the job said, "You have to go into Steve's office. Steve wants to talk to you, Steve Rubel."
Yeah.
And I knock, and the music is blasting, and they were cleaning the place, but the music was always playing. And I knock on the door, no one answers. And I knock on the door, no one answers. And I open the door, and there Rubel is, by my recollection, standing on his desk with one of the tiles of a dropped ceiling moved away. And I think that he was stuffing the cash into the ceiling that he later went to prison for doing. I think I actually witnessed him putting the money in the ceiling. Because I think he went to prison for tax evasion. Right?
Yeah, that was it.
I think I actually caught him evading his taxes, standing on the desk at that moment. And he literally was like, "Oh, Alec, come in."
Nothing going on here. Nothing to see.
I dropped something up in the ceiling.
Gravity. As a young actor, when you were going on auditions for theater, for TV, for films, what kind of feedback were you getting about your abilities, about how people saw you?
I'll never forget, I did this TV show, and I play a woman who's a wealthy matron in a town, has decided to suspend her financial support for a medical clinic in a remote area of the Texas Hill Country. And I'm one of the doctors. Shelley Hack and I did this miserable TV show with Jim Metzler. And the woman, and there's a scene where we go to this event, and I run into this woman, and Mrs. Evans, or whatever her name is, Mrs. Walker, some waspy name, won't give the money to the clinic. And I have a moment where I have an exchange with her. And you're young, and so you want to, what you do, what I found when I was young was I'd act out the whole movie in the one scene. You know what I mean? I sat there and I was like, Mrs. Walker. My God, my God. Do you understand what's going on to these people? Oh my God. Like, tears rolling down my face. And the director comes up to me, the director's like, cut. He's like, you gotta, let's let it breathe a little bit, man. Let's let it breathe. We're gonna get to all that later on. You know? And you work too hard. I remember when I was younger, like a lot of people,
Yeah,
you push too hard.
I think that's right.
I'm still pushing too hard sometimes.
Yeah,
But we'll get there.
you did the movies. You did everything from Beetlejuice, Married to the Mob, Working Girl, the Hunt for Red October, and then you got Kowalski opposite Jessica Lange. Did you feel actually yourself that you would become a different or better or stronger actor by then, or did you always know?
It became a different attitude about my work.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was?
Well, I think that when I used to work, I was very kind of like, not this was a bad thing, but I was kind of like very happy to be there. You know what I mean? And when I came in, and I thought to myself, well, I have a job to do, and if you walk in the room and the person you're playing opposite is Jessica Lange or Susie Lange, it doesn't really matter. You've got to do what you're here to do a job. You're here to get this job done. And there was a part of my life, probably, I guess, I got to figure out when that production was with Aiden, but I just remember I would go into rooms, and I didn't care if I got the job or not. You know what I mean? Like I wanted it, but I'd say to myself, who's that guy that was Gregory Harrison? Remember Gregory Harrison, the TV actor? He said that once in an interview that stayed with me a million years ago, when he said, once I began to go into auditions and realize that I had something they wanted, it wasn't just the other way around, that they were as interested in finding someone who could play this role as I wasn't getting the role. And I stopped acting like they were doing me a favor, you know what I mean? And once I had some self-respect in the audition process, and you walked in, you did the best you could, and when you were done, not that you smashed the furniture on your way out, but you just kind of be like, yeah, and so it doesn't all get, too carried away here and you leave. It did change things for me.
Yeah.
I think.